Okay, hello everyone. We're back with another episode of What's the Hype? This is going to be called our winter series now that it's cold out and the wind's blowing, and I think it was snowing yesterday. So we're going to go over a lot of different stuff over the next few months. We're going to kind of highlight each different department, and today we've got our F&B and catering team here, and we're going to have a good conversation about upcoming events, specifically the month of December, all the things that we do over the winter, and just have a discussion and hopefully maybe answer some questions you might have about the Greens dining room or how to book an event and all that good stuff. So we've got two special guests here today. We've got Kelly Sweeney. She's our event director. Kelly's been here just over a year and a half. She does a fantastic job in our events department. We're real fortunate to have her. And then Mario Portillo. He's our assistant clubhouse manager. Mario's been, it'll be almost 3 years, right, Mario?
Yeah, 3 years now.
January.
So,
January. Familiar faces to maybe a lot of you listening or watching, but if you haven't met Mario Kelly, next time you're out at the club, introduce yourself to him. So we're going to talk about the season here. We've just completed our 30,000 round. Darcy Dewey was that person. She won 30,000 pennies in the golf shop. She was very thrilled. That was unexpected last Friday. We're recording this on Friday, November 22nd. The golf course will close for the season this Sunday, the 24th. So long year. We opened up March 5th. We're going to close November 25th. So it's been a long year. So a lot of hard work. So Kelly, what was your most memorable event or moment of the season this year?
Yeah, I would definitely say my most memorable event that we have every year is our Fall Fest. Okay. It's so much fun to see the kids run around. We have families that come out for family photos at the same time that are getting all dressed up. But otherwise, the kids are running around picking out their own pumpkins from the pumpkin patch, running off all the candy on the bounce houses or shooting hoops to the basketball hoop. That is my most memorable. It's so much fun to see everybody out here. We kind of use that event to really tap into our creative thinking as it's outside of our typical everyday inside banquet space. So it really creates ideas for anything outside, whether that's twilight, we have food out on the course, or pool parties with, the ladies' chariot, the men's invitational, those type of things out at the pool. It really kind of triggers that thought process of let's take it a little bit outside of our normal walls.
Great. Yeah, that's turned into one of the biggest family event of the year. So that's great. I know that day was a lot of fun. I remember it was a little windy, but it didn't stop the folks and all the kids from coming out and having a good time. So It's fun to be able to, having full membership, increase cash flow and dues to be able to do all these events we do for families. And 95% of them are at no charge to the members, which
Absolutely.
is, I think, members appreciate. And that's something nice that we look to continue to do. Our next one is the Winter Extravaganza coming up on December 7th. That's a week from Saturday. That will be a big day at the club. We have all kinds of kids activities and the golf shop holiday sale. So come out and see us. Sign up on Forties if you haven't signed up yet. Mario, I'll turn over to you. What was your most memorable event or moment this season?
So for me, it would definitely have to be the men's invitational, which sounds kind of a cliche for a country club, but I come from a social club, so I never really got the exposure to be outside and everything. And me, always being stuck in the clubhouse, it's kind of nice to see all the operations around going in the business. Definitely the organization that goes into it. There's so many moving parts that go into the men's invitational, from the pool that we did, the pool party we did earlier in the year.
That was new this year.
That one was new, yep, to adding a new bar. What was it, 15T I think we did?
15T, yeah.
Yep.
And never have enough bars for the invitation.
Exactly, right. So that was wonderful. I think it was, really well orchestrated with the leadership team and the staff we have on here at Hyperion. And definitely the shootout. I love going out in the shootout and, driving the Bev cart around, giving more beer out to the membership, as well as, seeing the competitiveness of the groups.
It does get pretty serious there in the shootout.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the member guest is probably one of the premier golf events, probably the premier golf event next to the member we have every year. And, every year it seems to, we do a really good job, and then we exceed those expectations the following year, just feedback we get from folks. So it's good to have that event. I know we've got a healthy wait list. I believe there's over 30 people on that wait list. So years ago, I was just talking to a member the other day when we were talking about how the club has changed, since the pandemic, and 54 teams is full for the member guest. And there was a while there back in 2016, 17, 18, 19 that we'd only have 48 teams. We wouldn't even fill it up. And now we're at 54 with over 30 on a wait list. So that just says a lot about the experience, says a lot about the membership, the support of the club, and a lot about the staff too. As we, those are some long days. Those are, sun up to sundown, and you go to bed and you wake back up and you do it all over again.
Right.
So
And
anyway,
speaking of that being in one of the premier events, I saw you guys added a extra day on the member. What came about that?
yeah. So member, that was a little bit different this year. We had a lot of feedback last couple years, and that members. I'll just kind of take a couple steps back here with the member. That's similar to the member guest, where the member wasn't a big deal here 4 or 5 years ago. We had maybe 20 guys, 24 guys, and now this past year we got up to, I think, 94 teams. We ended up at 89 teams, and we were able to go over 3 days, so we could allow everybody to play. In the past, it had just been 2 days, and that sign up would go live at 8 o'clock on usually a Monday in June, and it'd be full by 8 o'clock in 10 seconds. And Adam and I'd be getting emails saying, well, why can't we get in? We signed up at 8 o'clock. Well, now they can get in. And, we were able to move it over 3 days. That had kind of a different feel, at least for us as a staff. I thought, it was morning shotgun, then lunch, then afternoon. But, we were able to get everybody in and then have a great weekend at the club. And it's a good weekend for the club. And you just hope the weather's good. Because that time of year, Adam and I were talking the other day, if we were to get over 100 teams, daylight becomes a concern that time of year with the sunrise, the sunset. So we're going to kind of cap that at 90 for now, which that's where we're at this year. But everybody got in that wanted to play and had a good time. So
Wonderful.
yeah. So golf course is nearly closed. It is almost closed. We're 48 hours from the end of golf season. So club operations really shift to the clubhouse primarily, maybe a little bit of fitness downstairs. But Kelly, why don't you kind of talk about, December's right around the corner, and that's kind of like June for you when it talks business. So can you touch on anything, how booked are we? Are there any open dates? Maybe go into the process of booking just any event with you for folks that might not be familiar with that.
Of course. So December is basically June in 3 weeks' time. So the club is closed that week of Christmas, but every day before that, starting December 1st, we are booked.
Wow.
I have one Wednesday, the first Wednesday of the week, or first Wednesday of the month that is open. Other than that, we are fully booked in December. It's super exciting news. We are still booking holiday parties up in January. We have quite a few on the books already, but definitely have some availability there. In terms of actually booking events, it's real simple. Give me a call at the clubhouse, shoot me an email. I'll put together kind of an estimate what you're looking at for food and beverages based on how many people you have. It's a pretty quick, easy process. We just kind of work together up until your event, just making sure your setup, your timeline. If you need any AV, any certain drinks, we'll tag in Mario and we'll have him kind of come up with some custom drinks, things like that. Otherwise, Chef and I kind of create a holiday menu that's special for this season that we put together. We send that out. And then next year we'll have a new 2025 menu there. So we'll be ready to rock.
Great. And you have well, first of all, that's outstanding that we're pretty much booked except for that first Wednesday. That's great. And you have someone new, kind of newer. She's been with us for a few months, but an assistant in your department. Why don't you introduce her to the club?
So Miranda Benton, she is my new rock star in the house. She has actually interned here prior 2022. So she's come back. Basically, we did a little bit of a 180 here, and we reamped our banquet space since she's been here. So even though everything has been completely changed, she's jumped back in, and she is my right-hand man when it comes to all of these holiday parties. We tag team each night and day, so she'll come in at day, I'll come in at night, or vice versa. We'll tackle every party. We work together hand in hand, and we're ready to take on the season.
Great. We're fortunate to have both Kelly and Miranda on the staff in our event department. Mario, back over to you. You've got some upcoming wine dinners. One particularly we want to kind of get more in detail, but we've got the Boget's wine dinner on December 5th, and then the Dinner in the Dark on Friday, December 20th. What can members expect with Dinner in the Dark? We get a lot of questions about this.
Absolutely. So originally, Dinner in the Dark was supposed to be on Halloween, but because Beggar's Night got switched over because it was so cold for the kiddos, we had to cancel it. Too many people dropped out. So we decided to reschedule it to the 20th. So the idea behind Dinner in the Dark is we have the room either completely dark or very dim, and you have your choice of dining by candlelight. So you still get that kind of dark effect, or we bought some blindfolds, and if you wish, you can put your blindfold on, and as soon as we drop the food down, you can use your other four senses to see what you're eating, kind of, oh, what's this texture here? And, you know, after you have your first couple bites, you can obviously take your blindfold off and enjoy the rest of your meal. So I think that's some kind of interesting play on, you know, using your other senses besides your eyesight to eat. So, yeah.
Interesting. That'll be intriguing to watch for sure.
Absolutely.
Depending on what members choose to do. Let's talk the greens a little bit. I heard Chef has a new menu out in the greens. How's that going so far?
It's going great, actually. It's really fun to see Chef, you know, expand and do foods that are a little bit different to the sports bar. Kind of showcase his creativity. You know, he always has ideas flowing in his head, and he wants to make them into reality. So we just did the new greens menu about a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a trial of it, as well as the staff, and it's some wonderful creations. Personally, for me, it has to be the halibut. That has to be one of my favorite on the menu. So if you haven't, try the halibut.
See, I heard the crowd favorite was the New York strip.
The New York
That's
strip
what I heard
too.
from
Yep.
some feedback from some members.
Okay.
So.
I'm a big fish guy, but
You like your fish?
I'm a little
Okay.
biased.
I'm more so land-based.
Okay.
I'll just have all the carbs.
The carbs.
There you go.
Okay. Well, maybe you can have the focaccia bread. I've
Focaccia's
heard that's a
perfect.
fan
Oh, yeah.
favorite too.
Very
Mhm.
favorite.
Yep, a lot of
That's
different.
made fresh every day, right?
Made fresh every day. Our
fresh
sous chef
every
makes
day.
it up every day.
That's outstanding.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and a little bit more on the greens too. I know Mari and Ethan, you've got some drink specials that you continue to run, and we're going to expand our hours starting in December. We're going to go from Thursday through Saturday to Wednesday through Saturday. We've seen the greens, the activity over here in the greens significantly increase since about end of July, beginning of August, kind of when we got through all the summer programs. We're consistently seeing people in here every night we're open, and that's why we made this room. You know, there's kind of been some mixed reviews where people may be questioning why the club spent this money on this space. Well, this was number one in the survey we did in 2022. And, you know, for those that haven't been to the greens, you know, make your reservation, grab your wife, come up and have dinner, have a drink at the bar. Honestly, with the talented we have in our kitchen with Chef and his knowledge, as well as the front of house staff, it's a world-class experience, and it's so different than anything we've ever had at Hyperion. And I would just encourage you to make a reservation, or even stop in at the bar, have a drink, maybe watch the game on the TV behind the bar. So as we move to the off season, our off season hours are in effect. So for food and beverage, we shift from Tuesday through Saturday, 11 to 9. Those will be the hours once the golf course closes. So that'll start next week. And then, like I said, beginning in December for the greens will be 4:30 to 9 Wednesday through Saturday over here. So, you know, you look at this year, 30,000 rounds of golf, you know, club usage at an all-time high. Carmel, Hyperion, that whole development came to life. Phase 2 of the clubhouse master plan, improvements at the range that were required for us to do with the new road, 1900 Drive. And, you know, the club still remains in a really strong financial position. You know, the phase 2 of the clubhouse master plan, that was $1.25 million we put into the club, and that came in $50,000 under the approved $1.3 million spend. Over at the range and different requirements that we've had over there, we've spent over $200,000, and that's on top of our operational capital plan that we put a lot of money back into the club. So you'll be seeing the committee recap going out here next week. That was something we tried last year, and we'll do it again this year. Then that'll go out. That'll have each committee's reports for the year. Then a little write-up from me and Michelle Blanchard, our president. So look for that, and then we'll follow that up with the annual meeting here on Tuesday, December 3rd. So a lot of stuff in that recap. It goes over each committee and then touches on some other topics that are important to the membership. So looking ahead to 2025, what does the staff do in the off-season, or how do we plan for next year? Kelly, why don't you kind of talk about our calendar meeting we have in January? I call that one probably the most important meeting we have all year.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically our calendar meeting, it happens right away in 2025. It's that first week. We sit down with everybody, every department, all the department heads, and we work together to plan out all of our events that we're going to put on that calendar right first thing, and then that way we can jump right into planning out the details, booking any outside vendors such as musicians, bounce houses, those type of things, just so that we can really get a jump start on that. We get Chef working on menus, planning all of that out. So it's a very important thing, just across the board, just looking at what we can do and how we can book it, and what we can bring in for the next year as well.
Yeah. It's usually about a 2.5 to 3.5 hour meeting.
It's
And
lengthy.
we hash it out, which is good. We talk about
Absolutely.
everything and making sure that we're getting things on the calendar that need to be on the calendar. We can start planning for those. And for 2025, our focus, my focus primarily, as well as everybody else's focus, is how innovative we can be for all events and daily operations. And we have a lot of the same stuff every year. Well, let's be innovative, let's be creative, and expand on that Hyperion experience. One thing I do want to point out, Megan and I just completed a focus group with a group of moms from all different age ranges with different kids, and we talked about mainly the pool and junior programs, and really a good perspective for us to hear about their experience and how things that they enjoy or things that they could see improvement. So those are building blocks we'll have for next year, which is good. That's why you want feedback. We want feedback. We want transparency. My door's always open if someone has a question on something or wants to just chat about club operations. With that, we're going to wrap things up. We've been going about 15, 20 minutes. We hope you guys enjoyed episode 1 of the winter series. Excuse me. We're out of the summer now. I keep thinking summer. Jim's sitting here, but it's got Mario and Kelly, which is great. So want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving next week, and want to drop a hint. This is going to be big. For January and February, we're going to have a dining contest that results in a lot of cool prizes that you will probably want to take advantage of here in January and February in the Sports Bar on the Green. So more info to come on that. Again, happy Thanksgiving, and thank you, Mario and Kelly.
Thank you.
Thank you.